Well, it looks like we're recording. This is a knife I just finished, and even though, I mean, it deserves a lot of description and maybe even sort of praise of the process, but I'm not going to take a long time to do this. For the most part, this video is going to be to demonstrate to my customer how this knife comes apart. A lot of weird things are going to happen here. Some screws might even fall out because this is a frame handled, there's a screw right there, and this is a frame handled fighter. I'm just going to pull this sheath out, set it off to the side. We're done with that because here is the fighter. Here's the knife itself, and right here this one scale was just sitting on there with I mean, for me to take this apart, I just don't really need you guys, and you probably don't want to sit here and watch me take 6 or 12 screws apart, right? So this is one of the scales. It's ring to gidgee, and there's 6 of the screws. I'm just going to set it aside. This is a San-Mai, what I call Koma, K-O-M-A. It's the name of a lake that up in Boundary Waters. Koma Fighter, frame handled fighter, and San-Mai 1095 core with this is a 416 stainless jacket. There you can see our long clip on this, false edge to show the core, and maybe you can get a little idea of the character of the San-Mai. It's pretty extraordinary. I dig San-Mai. Here's our full thickness 1095 and 416 stainless. Now, this is just held on by 2 screws, so rather than bore you with 6, I'm going to take these 2 screws off so that we can, I don't know how this is going to focus on an empty handle, but this is the frame handle. You'll see some shiny things here. These are 1/8" 416 inserts that I put in the handle. So, I mean, by the time you get to this point of tapping for screws and threading into a handle, you don't want to be breaking a 256 tap off in there. So I make inserts on my lathe so that if I break a tap off in one of these, no big deal. I throw it out and make another one. Once they're all made, everybody's happy. So this is how this thing, I'm going to show a couple things here, and I'm hoping the camera's going to focus. Notice that this is the tang that's coming through the guard. There's a 1/4 inch connector here. By the way, this frame is 255 thousandths. The spine of this knife is 255 thousandths. This frame is 235 thousandths, and the tang is 215 thousandths. There's a reason for all those dimensions. So first thing I want to show is this connector is a 1032 thread that's connecting this tang and this socket head cap screw. Now I'm going to point something out. Hope people don't pop little. I'm the first guy I knew that did this, what I call a bridge. I showed that to a couple, to a deceased mastersmith one time. Wonderful fellow, and I considered him, and still to this day is a great friend. And he took it and ran with it and really started showing people, and he's always been credited with this bridge. I don't know of anybody that did it before me. That's all I'm going to say about that. I came up with this with the help of actually it started out as a dovetail in the frame at a suggestion by a good friend of mine, Chuck Gadritis, who's the folder maker, East Coast folder maker. So anyway, there's a little gap between this connector and the bridge. Now this is a Allen wrench, which I've shortened because we are going to put it, and there you can see the socket head cap screw. Because there's just barely enough room, I had to shorten it to get it in there. You can see where we're at, and I'm just going to loosen that socket head cap screw. Just going to loosen it. Now, I'm not going to pull the cap screw all the way out. I'm going to thread, I don't want to say this, I'm going to turn the connector, screw it onto the tang so it goes that way. That's what I'm doing. I'm not loosening the socketed cap screw. I'm threading the connector down until it comes off of the screw. I designed this length of the thread and this all at the very beginning so that it would work like that. Now, push it like I always do. I don't want my handles or even the frame to come off, bring the guard with it, so I'm going to push against that guard and this frame comes off. Now remove the connector. Now remove the connector and the guard will slide off. Now, I hope people can see on the front end of this frame are what I call lugs. Here, I put them with the knife in the background. Those are, see those lugs? Those go into the back of the guard, like that. As well, the front of the guard is milled 255 thousandths. The back of the guard is milled 215 thousandths. There's a step right here from the ricasso down to the tang. The frame being 235 thousandths is 20 thousandths bigger than the slot in the back of the guard. You can't see this, I'll bet you, but there's ledges right here on each side of this frame that are 10 thousandths. I don't know if you can see this or not, that fit against the sides of the guard. That indexes, see that, there's 10 thousandths on either side of the frame sitting against the back of the guard, so it can't turn. And then the lugs, we're going to put this back together. Watch. See this void on either side of the tang? That's where these lugs go. Slide right like that. Oop, sorry, I'm going to take this frame off. I'm going to put the connector on. Thread the connector all the way down. Now put the frame on. Slide the finial through the hole in the bridge. And now I'm going to unscrew the connector onto the finial until there's just until it's you don't want to go all the way to the bridge and touch it, just so there's about a thread and a half, because now I'm going to tighten the finial. There's no reason to go past snug. Solid. I once told somebody with this assembly I would do the bend portion of a Mastersmith performance test. I would flex this knife 90 degrees. It's just like this is one of my takedown handles. Both my Journeyman Smith and Mastersmith performance knives are takedowns that fully come apart. They're basically threaded tang, finial, holding everything tight. So if those survive that, this would survive that just as well. Now, there it is. I can just put one screw on, and there you get the idea. One of the screws just fell out, but get the idea. 256. These are black oxide screws. Anyway, there she is. that's how this knife all works. Great customer. He saw another knife that I had made. I called a Koma, which was, and that Koma cost me, the other Koma cost me cost me that gash right there. I call it Koma, the one that bit me. Anyway, man, that's windier than heck. So anyway, get the idea what's going on here. Koma, frame handle, line sheath, lambskin lined, tanned lambskin, ringed gidgee. I don't think I mentioned that was ringed gidgee. So appreciate your time. Y'all have a good one. Don't forget to vote. Save America from socialism.